Welcome everyone to Life Lessons from Movies, presented by my organization, the Zen of Hollywood, and me, your host, David MacKay. In this segment, we extract life lessons from films so that we can learn something, improve our lives, and become happier, which I believe we all desire. Okay, today's theme is finding the magic in everyday living. And we'll examine this theme through the good film called Now You See Me, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, and Melanie Laurent. Please know there are spoilers ahead. We all have daily responsibilities and obligations that can make life monotonous. But believing this to be our reality, many of us resign ourselves to these quiet lives of desperation that American poet and philosopher Henry David Thoreau warned us about. But what if this idea that the material world is all there is, what if that's just a trick? A trick of our egos to get us to dismiss this idea of real magic, the supernatural, if you will, so that we would then live in our comfort zones, so that we wouldn't have to take any risks, so that we can control our fears. This, I believe, is certainly one of the themes of this film, and it's worth exploring. Since the beginning of time, artists of all kinds, such as actors, poets, motivational speakers, have tried to get us, at least partly, to raise our consciousness and consider what might be beyond the material plane. That it is to consider the magical. That's certainly the job of the four horsemen in this film, these four independent magicians that have been brought together by this mysterious third party to do a series of magic shows. Yes, the four horsemen are trying to trick us, no doubt about it, through sleight of hand. But there's another part of us that when we can't explain how they do their tricks, there's a part of us, however small, that really has to bring in the possibility of the supernatural or the miraculous to explain their tricks. Of course, FBI agent Rhodes, played by Mark Ruffalo, isn't buying it. He's been brought in to rein in the four horsemen, in fact, who have been accused of stealing 3.2 million euros from a bank in Paris. But because he has no evidence against them, he has to let them go. But he and his other colleagues with the FBI, as well as a French Interpol agent named Alma, spend the rest of the film trying to catch the four horsemen in the act and throw them in jail. Now, this interplay between Agent Rhodes and Agent Alma is interesting and significant because I think it represents the two sides within us. Agent Rhodes is the part of us that can be the cynical disbeliever, the part of us that believes in nothing but rationality, logic, and reason. And Alma, on the other hand, represents the part of us, our intuitive side, our creative side, the part of us that believes in the Platonic values such as beauty, truth, love, purpose, equanimity, tranquility, and magic. In truth, these two sides really are our ego and our higher self that are doing battle with each other. Now I say doing battle, but our higher self, being our spiritual essence, our divine essence, is never at battle with anything. It's really the ego that battles our divine essence, our higher self. Well, what is the ego? The ego is our self-concept, the part of us that believes in nothing but us being human beings on a material plane. And so to admit to something spiritual, to our higher self, would actually mean render our ego to be the illusory entity that it is. And we can see this in the film, how Alma is constantly trying to get Agent Rhodes to believe in possibilities, right? She's the fun-loving, optimistic one. And she does this principally by talking about love, the possibilities of love, right? And she uses love as something and calls it something magical. And it really is when you think about it. Yes, she talks about the people on the bridge in Paris, those lovers, how they come and bring their lock. They put their lock on the bridge and throw the key into the river. But putting that aside, love is truly magical because it goes beyond the physical plane. It's much more than just an emotion or an ideal or a relationship. The ego uses love, of course, for its own selfish reasons, just to get its needs met. But love, of course, is the governing force of the universe. It is the highest truth in existence. And it is a force that propels all of us along our evolutionary track to self-realization. In this sense, it truly is magical. In addition to being responsible for manifesting everything in existence, love is healing as well. Love is healing, and this has been proven in scientific experiments. I mean, for example, these people who suffer from a disorder called psychosocial dwarfism, that stunts their growth, when these individuals were loved over a period of time, they actually began to grow. That is, love helped them overcome this physical condition. We need to let go of this idea that the only thing in existence is the material plane, because if we go beyond the material plane, there is what's called the quantum plane, which is truly magical. At the quantum plane, we can observe something and actually alter reality with our observation. I mean, that's basic quantum mechanics. And one particle can be in two places at the same time at the quantum plane. And if that's not magic, I don't know what is. And another example, at the quantum plane, one person on one side of the planet can send healing energy to another person on the other side of the planet, and actually that person receives that energy and receives a healing boost simultaneously at the same time the person sends the energy. And this is exactly what has happened to me personally. This is not to even mention everyday magic that happens with people. For example, thinking about a friend, and then a couple minutes later that friend calls us. The truth is, magic exists. But we can only access that if we let go of this notion, if we let go of this limitation that we have, that the material plane is all there is. We need to move beyond our ego. We need to take a leap of faith and realize that, hey, even though we can't register it with our five senses, this magical plane and planes actually exist. That's why we need to move beyond the ego. When we do so, we allow this everyday magic to be there for us in a very real sense. So this is what I took as a major life lesson from the film, but I would love to hear from you in the comments below. And for more movies and life lessons, please go to my website, thezenofhollywood.com. That's thezenofhollywood.com. And please like my video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.